came up with an idea where we could actually provide free recording of poetry, songs, lyrics, and spoken words that actually address social justice issues within our community. And so I want to read you the purpose of the actual research project that came about from this. The purpose of this study is to examine how songs, lyrics, and poetry express emotional reactions to inequity of people with different backgrounds, socioeconomic status, race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, power differentials, lack of power, lifestyle choices, and physical and emotional. This research project was so transformational. I wanted to create this experience, so that's why we have this Raging Studios Symposium here today, for you all to learn a little bit more what happens within our studio and also in the paper itself.
Don Richmond plays in bands the Rifters and Tumbleweed, and he was given an honorary doctorate from the music department at Adams State. Without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Don Richmond.
We have a lot in common, that man and me. A heart that's often hurt, and eyes sometimes see. A fear that makes us run from what we really like to be. We have a lot in common, so it seems to me. We have a lot in common underneath our skin. And it should be common knowledge that inside we're all kin. We try to make some sense of things that we can't understand. We have a lot in common. We do the best we can. Julian suggested I just speak a little bit about that a lot in common. You know, it has what is really my favorite line that I think I've ever written in it, is that we have a lot in common, we do the best we can. Given, you know, we're like a tree or a plant that grows as well as it can, given the environment, given the nurturing, given the opportunity. And, you know, I think if we can see that in each other, if we can find that kinship inside, I think that it'll be a better world going forward, you know. So anyway, that's what it means to me, anyway.
I wanted to mention that was part of the post-production phase, was an interview and lyric analysis of the pieces, and the process as the songwriters went through their experience converting that into a song and then into an album, and so on. So really appreciate your music, Tom. Thank you. Our next artist is another participant with the Raging Studios project. Her name is Julie Wexel. She's a local poet, and today she would like to share her poem entitled White Goats.
A midden mound of sacrifice fossil fuels my life. With clean hands I fill my belly, pray my soul can be reclaimed. Sacred mountain of the Dene rises above the Rio, sanctuary of lost spirits, those depths by which I live.
And so this song is about how he experienced the gay community within the San Luis Valley as them living in secret. So he gave an example how it was difficult for him because he came from an open gay community, And when he organized dinners out with some other gay people within the community, there was, he said they were very much in the closet here and that there's a lot of fear. He thinks some of that fear was based on potential rejection, poor treatment, and even violence against gay. Without further ado, we're going to actually play a track from the album. This is Jerusalem Benavides with It Makes No Difference.
So come on, babe, don't be afraid. If a man loves a man, it can be famous. I don't care what they say, it makes no difference. Would it make a difference if I held you one more time?
You know, I think it's important to share that message, and it's important to put that positive spin on it. I really appreciated a lot of the words Don shared about taking this impression and the different experiences that people have with it and converting it into optimism and talking about how can we bring this change about in our world. I think it's very pertinent right now in our times. So as you're listening to this music, which is going to be pretty fun, lively, feel free to get up and dance. You're also going to hear some of these pretty heartfelt messages of difficulty with those issues. So I'd like to invite to the stage my brother, Jeremy T. Yates, as well as our bass player, Mike Noonan, and our guitarist, Eli Doxson. Come on up, guys. I'll be playing drums. Thank you. First song is called We Are a Village, and it's about creating that social change in each of our villages, however small. The power of coming together in that.
It takes a village. So, this next song is actually the song that I gave to all the participants as an example of how you could take a lyric analysis and get a lot more depth behind the song. The song is called Hawaiian Pride, and it talks about a lot of, pretty much it stems from the injustices and the atrocities that were committed against the Hawaiian people, and how there's a great deal of animosity between the races. And so, they'll get terms like haole, which means white, foreigner. You get terms like wahines, which means women. And so we've got some behind the scenes kind of pictures, and so the participants in our study kind of got to see that as an example as they were actually able to write their own poetry and lyric analyses. And so without further ado, we're going to pump the bass. Thank you very much. So blessed to have so many educators amongst us. And please go take these positive messages out to the community, because education heals nations. your fist. That last one is important because we got to think about how socioeconomic status doesn't matter what color your skin, where your background is. The biggest indicator for education is actually socioeconomic status. So we gotta think about how we can leave the middle beyond the rise. Yeah. This next one I gotta think back to. Another track on the Reagan Studios Volume 1 album. This one was written by a woman named Karen Lemke, and I think it's a very, very important sub-theme from in this research, and it's about gender equity. And so, specifically when we're thinking about the ways in this gendered communication and the way that men and women speak to one another. So I think we need to be thinking about equity in terms of not only race and socioeconomic status, but it's really a male-female thing as well. And it's actually a two-way street. I've known some radical feminists out there. Hey, I love them too, but sometimes those men, they get nothing, we've heard about some anti-breeders from some LGBTQ, so I mean we got to think about that it's a two-way street, and there's some women out there that are crushing men's dreams and crushing their hearts as well.
Well, tell us how you really feel about this.
Well, it's an old school tragedy.
Was this in the script?
Now it is. There you go. That's you, bud. It's an old school tragedy. So, this next song is a song about family. It's called Brand New Journey. So that's why we're inviting our family on the stage tonight. on the drums, Eli Dobson on guitar. Thank you, Don Richmond. Thank you, Julie Wechter. This has been a Raging Studios Symposium. So, I think it's very important to go out into the world and think about how you can be the change that you want to see in the world. And before, as we're packing up, as we're making balloon animals for the children, we're gonna play a recording of the tune Raging. And it was very, very special to be able to play music in the studio with Don Richmond, Ben Payton, and myself. And we wrote this song. This is actually a meta-analysis of the whole Raging Studios project. And so what we did is we used the words from the participants, from the Raging Studios Volume 1 album, and we created this track, Raging.